Hey guys, so for today's video, we're going to be taking a look at my 2023 Christmas display in the daytime, a complete walkthrough guided tour as if you came to the display and I was taking you through it. And some of you got to experience this, so for those of you who maybe came to see the display, this video might be kind of, not needing to watch it, but if you do, you'll get to see it in the daytime, and it was only up one time in the day because the wind was so bad this December. So this is going to be totally unscripted, just going through about 10 minutes of footage to give you an idea of the entire display, see some details that weren't necessarily viewable at night, but you maybe saw them during the drone shots, but likely not because, being far away. So we're just gonna get right into it, starting with the North Pole Carnival, which is one of my favorite scenes. I'm gonna be kind of explaining my thought process in where I chose to put what and going through all of that. So let's get started with the North Pole Carnival Santa and Mrs. Claus swing set, which is kind of the focal point of it. And they are looking, kind of minifigure-esque. My cousin was talking about if it was potentially a licensed Lego inflatable. I was like, no, they just strongly resemble minifigures, but it looks great. It's right at the front where it's pretty close to the road. When it would deflate, it would kind of come into the road, and at night I would pull it back, but you can see the Wheel of Fun. You've also got the Yule Slide and then the Snowman Totem, which I did put behind it to kind of climb up the back of it. And then you've got the carousel, the reindeer rider, which has been modified if you noticed during the drone video, but it's much more clear here. You've also got the Ferris wheel, which is a great design. They all three look really good together, kind of evenly spaced out, and that was one of the reasons why I chose to take off part of the reindeer rider, was to kind of maintain that distance. And then you've got the entrance. Main focal point of the entire display is this Christmas tree archway. It's fantastic, it's gigantic, it's great to have close to the road, but also not too close as well. So you can go right through. We'll start off with Santa's Boot Camp. This was my favorite scene or spectacle to create. It's a very, very huge ordeal with 9 toy soldiers. You've got 2 16-foot nutcrackers. It's kind of saluting the bigger 20-footers. I'm supposed to give you an idea of kind of rank, but you do have Santa's Royal Guards with him, and then you've got kind of the cadets as the animated toy soldiers, and then you have the saluting ones kind of in between those two. So it's a really, really cool shot, especially when they're all kind of lined up like that. That was totally intentional. I planned on doing that for about a month. I knew I wanted to utilize all of them, but I didn't really know how. And then I kind of just came up with that. I was like, this is what we're gonna do. But you've also got Santa's Biggest Helper, and this was not plagiarized, but I mean, taking inspiration from the box. I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. So we've got Santa's Biggest Helper being Elf on the Shelf. You can see the Snowman Totem much more clear here. And then kind of a wider view of the entire display. You've got the trails that zigzag back and forth, forming a W from the aerial view. But then his workshop right here, you've got the present stack, which looks really good with the Elf on the Shelf. I knew I wanted to pair those two together, and I was kind of figuring out what other inflatables to put with those two. And I came up with the teddy bear and the toy soldier because they are, essentially they're toys, and it makes a lot of sense. Granted, it is a giant elf, and it was actually one of most people's favorites. They love the 20-foot Elf on the Shelf. And then you walk back this way, kind of towards the Christmas tree, and it was great that people could see the back of that archway because, to me, I love the way that archway is done. I think Jimmy did an excellent job. But again, the toy soldiers here, Santa's Boot Camp, you could see off to the right, Reindeer Alley, which we'll walk through here shortly, but it does zigzag back and forth. It was kind of a challenge taking those stakes and aligning them perfectly, but what I would do was I would take an extension cord, tie it to the stake, and pull it as tight as I could to maintain a very straight line, and I would stake it along that, and that's how I was able to achieve such really neat and also parallel lines. But you can see that the reindeer kind of crosses over that. They did overlap a little bit, so it was fun kind of playing with that. And then you also have the Candy Cane Tunnel, and I think now what we're gonna do is go through the reindeer. Yeah, we will here in just a second. I'm trying to remember kind of my walkway when I was filming this, but you can go underneath the reindeer. Clearance is about 5'7", I believe, if that's what I said in my review. I know it's somewhere around there because I had to duck, but it is Reindeer Alley. I thought that was fun to play with. And then you can go back out the Christmas tree archway. There's a lot of different routes you can take, but I chose to do this one because it kind of made more sense, which you'll see here momentarily when we get to Sweetville. So walk out kind of down the road, and then we are now approaching the Candy Hole, vignette, which extends all the way to the back of my house, which is something I've not done before, but you do have some candy-themed inflatables if you look all the way back there, but don't worry, we're going to get to that here in just a second. So you've got the Welcome to Sweetville sign, 2 candy cane tunnels flanked, inverse. It was really, really cool to do. I told you guys that it was a possibility in my candy cane archway review from early summer, I would say. So you walk through it, sound activates, people love doing that. But I really did want to make this feel super big, and because I got them 50% off, I was able to do that. You've also got the Candy Castle on the hill. I thought that was kind of cool. I wanted to be a little higher up, and also it's not in scale with much of the other things. It's in scale with maybe the gingerbread house, but that's about it. So I kind of wanted to isolate it because it didn't quite work with the rest, and basically its proportions didn't work. I think that's probably a better thing to say. It's more accurate, but this is Candy Cane Lane. It's its own thing. The donut shop is kind of just to throw in there. That was actually the #1 liked inflatable this year, probably over the Outhouse and the Elf on the Shelf. Those 3 everyone loved. So you've got the gingerbread house here, which is actually in front of my real life pool house. So you've got the candy canes flanking either side of that sidewalk, and then the 2023 brand new gingerbread archway. I did get for a reason. I know it kind of felt out of place based on I was releasing like 4 20-foot reviews, really big inflatables. The Deercraft Carrier, all ones that really stood out. And then I feel like the gingerbread archway, people were kind of like, wait, why is he reviewing that? But there was a reason. It was because its width fit that sidewalk so perfectly. I knew that I could create kind of a gingerbread neighborhood with those 2 inflatables. And then you've also got the rotating tree, which is designed to where if you follow it, it'll kind of spit you back out because this is an end point of the display. And then you do have the candy cane kind of gumdrop looking teddy bear here. So 2 hugging animated teddy bears in one display I thought was pretty cool. And then no one could come back through this way. This was kind of off limits, but me taking you through, you go through this gate, and then you are at the pool, and then on top, not on top, but very close to being on top, you've got the Deercraft Carrier. And the Deercraft Carrier near the pool, I knew as soon as I got the Deercraft Carrier to do this, okay? So when I'm planning displays and when I'm purchasing inflatables, I get it for a reason. So I wanted to do it. My original idea was to have it on top of the pool cover, and we did that for most nights. But for some nights, for filming like the main display with everything up, I did open the pool, turn the lights on to get that illumination onto the Deercraft Carrier. And what I really wanted to do was actually take poles and put it on the poles and have it actually be on top of the pool. Maybe that's a next year thing, who knows? But this brings us to the Snowman family, and not just the Snowman family, but the Snow family being lots of members. That was a great scene to create. I love doing it. It's an intended photo op for sure. That's why the sign is, I'm part of the Snow family. But you've also got the dancing trio, and now moving on to the sleigh. 17, not 17, I was going to say 17 and a half feet, thinking the Rudolph sleigh, but 21 feet of lots of mixed media material. I'll say that. Review to come soon on it. That's actually, I think, my next video. But it's a really great inflatable. I liked it tucked back there. It was kind of a snow theme in the side yard. And this brings us to the other yard, which would be 47 Pine Street, not 46. This would be my Whoville Grinchmas display. And it was it wasn't an afterthought, but it was something that I wanted to do because it was a really nice counterpoint to my really bright display. I made everything green because I did not replace the C7s in this yard, but I might next year. So that is my Grinchmas display. And then the last thing that we're going to take a look at is the sleigh on the roof. And of course, this brings us to my car, which was parked over there. And funny enough, it's got an oil slick kind of, I don't know, not colorization, but like finish on it. So depending on which way you look at it, it changes the color. And it happened to be green for when I was filming at that time of the day. So I thought that was pretty fitting. So that's it for the display. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was my kind of tour through. A lot more to talk about. I know there's plenty more I could go on about, but I want to make sure this video is not too long, so that'll do it. Thank you guys so much again. I'll see you later. Peace out. Bye.